Talking about the elite, I know. What is your opinion on this the trafficking and all that? For example, I've seen it firsthand recently.
You can tighten that microphone there too.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand recently with this new movie, right? What's it called? It's
Barbie Girl.
Oh, the Barbie too, but the one about the child trafficking.
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom.
I didn't watch it yet.
I haven't watched it either, but but I can't believe that there's so much negative press about it at all. It's a movie about, like, Rolling Stone has come out and said that it's a QAnon.
I don't know what it's about.
It's a true story about a guy who like busts a trafficking.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
So what do you think about when you think about the elites and all that? Where does trafficking come into it, and why is that something that is so kind of it's not in the mainstream? Like, we're battling with people about being being trans, right? That's what we're arguing. But what about the kids that are getting trafficked and all over the world? You know what I mean? Like, why doesn't anybody care about those kids?
Yeah, the highest level of deviancy, because remember, like, as you're becoming a billionaire, you're becoming more deviant. And it's always through sexual perversion. Kay Griggs and Military from Shape, NATO, and it's all in my documentary. They scout for 14 to 16-year-old mercenaries in other countries that they bring to the U.S. For maybe they'll go to, like, Haiti or something. All right, I'm not going to say names, but certain foundations. But they scout for perversion, and I'm not going to hurt you guys go into detail, but they always look for a homosexual trait so they can wipe out the psyche through. There's a sex ritual they do with basically when you become a special operations soldier, Navy SEAL, Ranger, whatever. It's called like a cherry Marine, where they pop your cherry, they fuck you in the ass, and that's how. Yeah, and she talks about it, and she leaks all of it. And when there's a funny guy saying it, it sounds stupid. When you look at Kay Griggs, she's no funny lady.
Who is that?
She's married to this NATO kind of high-ranking. Anyways, it's going to be in my documentary, but there's so many YouTube clips of her, and she exposes how it always starts with hookers, right? The generals, they don't offer you money, but when you're going higher rank in the military, they're looking for certain traits of deviancy. You ever kill a squirrel? Because they want someone who gets the job done. And in special operations, you have to do two things. You have to have one cold kill, and it's usually a homeless guy. But the guys who are really talented will do a cold. I'm not CIA, but the guys who are really fucking intelligent in these special operations circles, and they're usually a lot younger than the others, they do a murder on a politician that the military general, that is, the guy who's ranking him on this mission, right, on this initiation test, this satanic initiation test, he kills one of the highest ranking politicians that the military general loves and supports, and the twisted general goes like this: "We love that Republican candidate. You're that fucking vile." And they actually get impressed with the level of evil, as in, because if you take out that vacuum, there's going to be trouble for, like, let's say a 6-month period until the next kind of more politically charged media starts. The guy is really saying, I will find a different politician. I'll fix that problem. But you saw me kill the most protected dude in America. And so they go they're called rising stars. They go way higher ranking, right? But they reward it, even if it damages their political movement. You know how, like, military will be a little different, right? But it's funny, the left wing and right wing part of the military, they both agree on one thing: deviancy, homosexuality, murder. And it always starts with hookers getting the young boys drunk, and then they switch to men. And if you think what I'm saying sounds like crazy and stupid, you're an idiot. They've been doing this since Spartans. Spartans had young men that they fucked. Young boys they fought.
I heard about that.
And they said they fought harder in war because they loved their relationship with that boy. Wow. They've been doing this throughout all of human history. And what's crazy is when you do that much psychic damage on someone's ego, because they say a homosexual, and not to hurt your channel, but this is what they say: homosexual is when they get molested, their ego is wiped, so they become the best child soldier, just take orders. Whereas the straight guy goes, no, that's gay. Like he has more like boundaries. It's not actually them turning into homosexual, loving a man or any of that. It's literally bisexual, necrophilia with the dead body, BCI. It's everything sexual. What is that called when everything turns you on?
A degenerate.
There you go. Yeah. So
Like an
it's
incel.
yeah. So I'm not really like, oh, it's the gay community and stuff. It's really what I'm saying is when these young men are targeted to become rising stars, dude, these guys become fucking generals. And people are like, well, that means that every single general on earth in an effective Western military has been fucked in the ass and now is continuing that abuse on the younger ones. You're saying all of them? All of them. And this is probably where they kill me. If I was ever to get killed, it'll probably be this one. But it's all of them. It is all of them. And you'd never believe it because these guys sound identical to me, straight as fuck. They hate gays. That's the weird. They're like self-loathing where they become werewolves one night. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it is so mind-blowing how the Kay Griggs documentary, nobody's heard of it. Every conspiracy expert on the internet doesn't talk about it. Alex Jones, just me. But then I saw they start fucking the shit out of her lifestyle. They started taking her panties from her drawer, the military, because she's fucking with her husband would get very drunk. They're nihilists and obsessed with Nietzsche and God doesn't exist and killing someone is just like shaking someone's hand. Who gives a fuck? He would get drunk. And you know how there's always a spark of the soul, the ember? He'd start crying to her and saying, I killed this person, that. She would write it all down and she leaked everything. I think this is like in the 80s or 90s, right? And the most mind-blowing thing to me was it's always a sodomy ritual. And then when I started studying power, did you know MK Ultra mind control, that wasn't mastered in World War II like Joe Rogan and all these idiots tell you? Joe Rogan, we don't know much about the Egyptians. Do you know why we're not taught about the Egyptians? They're so mysterious. Look into, I read a book that no scholar could crack. And I'm not flexing for like clout or anything. Dude, I did this book on drugs. I did it drunk. I did it in my most wakeful solar state, my sleepiest lunar state, everything to understand this. And I finally cracked the code because it was all in allegory, poetry. This book is pretty much code for if you're intelligent enough to get it or if you're desperate enough to do drugs and, when I cracked the code of this book that was talking about serpents and this and staffs, it was the serpent that was actually the staff was a penis. And it was a ritual happening to two young boys who are about to become pharaoh. One is the spirit leader and the other becomes pharaoh. The spirit, they go into
What's the book?
Well, I'll say after, but they go in to a shrine and everyone in Egypt goes, they're going in. One is going into the heavens, rising into ether, what Plato talked about, and the other will come out as king. Do you know what happens in that shrine in the darkness that they say he has to suffer for 3 nights and be resurrected?
No.
Every single cleric, not politician, not king, not pharaoh or whatever, every cleric of their religion, this pagan star
What's a
worship
cleric? What's
beast, pretty much these are priests of Egypt, right?
Yeah.
They're dark mages,
Yeah.
and they would have these esoteric, Masonic, Illuminati, whatever you guys want to call it, religions, right, of sacrifice to babies and stuff. This young, let's say 12-year-old Aleister Crowley, black mage who talked about 11-year-old boy of highest intelligence is the best sacrifice, right? But they them first. Dude, in the dark shrine, when they go in, the boys go happy. They're like, oh my God, it's finally happening. We're finally being ordained this new title. One boy is torn apart by every cleric and R-worded to death while they cut his fucking hands off and force him to eat it. And they make it Halloweeny and more graphic on purpose, so there's more electricity, adrenaline, more soul coming out of the ritual. They have to invert it. They want to go against God. And the other boy has to watch the trauma. One dies Nobody in Egypt knows that boy died because they believe the cleric, he rose into heaven through that shrine, right? That's what they believe, that one boy comes out, the other one is in the heavens. What? This is the most disgusting shit I've ever read. I showed it to my chat, 400 viewers, and I broke it down for them. And I said, man, I'm going to look crazy. No one's going to believe me that I deciphered this because it doesn't really make sense. 400 of my viewers, even the dumber guys, they all said, you barely had to explain it. Holy fuck. We know exactly what happened. It means I didn't have to explain it. When I showed them that piece of my documentary, which you can't even find this VOD, when I explained it, I didn't really have to, hey, this is what's happening. They just understood it. It hit them because I told them it's going to be dark. So I prepped them. Dude, since Egypt, World War II, look at any world war, any special operation, it's always a sodomy ritual in the anus and a sacrifice murder, Epstein Island style. And look at all the Hollywood stars. How many of them been in the anus?
I mean,
is it 99%?
I'm bought in 100%.
I mean, it seems. Look, being in Hollywood does seem like it's a common thing. That's
there's
one
something
thing.
that happens.
We were just talking about that.
And remember, when you get at a certain age, at a young age, how this works is it's not like a lot of people are like, oh, mind control. You got to like give him some LSD and do. No, dude, it's just trauma. It's just working with the devil. Yeah. All you have to do to psychically own someone as a slave is when that, I don't know if we can say the R word here. Yeah?
Yeah, you could say it, right? I mean, Austin, can we, you know more about YouTube. I mean, can we say
R word? I'll say R word. I'll protect you.
Dino has a shirt. This is
okay. When that happens on a young boy with an older man, the more violent it is, the more control he has over that soul. But here's what happens. The boy can't register that his father, uncle, maybe agent, handler, whatever, he can't register the trauma of his protector doing absolute evil to them, the pain. Their mind goes into what Masons call Elysium, where they go to a happy place, where the starts feeling good.
Yeah.
Because the brain can't handle
That's what
the
happened.
trauma, and they snap into a dissociative state like this.
You know how many chicks got fantasies, bro? Like, I've been with a chick.
All right.
Well, this is different. This is
Sultan,
different.
you're gonna relax.
This
right
is
now.
way different. This is way different.
Shut up, Sultan.
This is crazy. Check this out. When the boy is shattered, mind shattered right there in a dissociative state, that's when that military get up programming happens. And here's the weird thing. It gets repressed into the subconscious female lunar brain. Remember, men are the sun, active going. Women nurture the man. They're passive like the waves. So they're the subconscious when you're sleeping. Men are awake, right? Wakeful. It gets stored in the feminine brain, that rape ritual. And in 30 years, they don't even know what happened. They repressed it. They can get one phone call with that voice and trauma that triggers the 8-year-old ritual, or we'll say the rape. Ring, ring, ring. Get up! And they trigger into a dissociative state where they say, up that place, and they literally go light the place up. That's exactly... I'm not CIA, but man, it's a disgusting.
So you think like
shit
JFK's murder or something like that might have been?
Dude, look into every serial killer. It's always American serial killers.
They were
are
molested.
Always linked
to the government,
to deviant molesters
when he was
of the
molested.
military.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Ask my country, where are shooters in third world countries? They don't exist.
I see those.
They don't fucking exist.
Wow,
it's a military neo-Rome program. I'm not CIA, but there's a reason why in third world countries, gangsters light each other up. Gangsters don't go into fucking kindergartens. That's disgusting and satanic. It only happens here
in the U.S.
and it only happens in political waves. But we're not going to get into that.
Wow, man. I mean, look.
Am I delivering?